People, fellow waves, namaste. We are back with another freaking segment of After the Bell with our boy Ben Meyers. Ben, how freaking fired up? Why do I say freaking fucking fired up are we for this episode?
Dude, we're setting the intentions, and I feel like I'm like a horse getting ready to come out like the stable. I'm like, let's just go. I'm so excited. Cody, I'm talking absolutely ripped this podcast, dude. He set such a container for us to talk about such amazing things that have come up through my life. I felt like I was in the room with you guys. Like, I feel like I became best friends with him because he is just an open book. He talked about the fight on the ice, off the ice. I am so excited to dive into this with you.
Brother, people, he usually sets the intention and it goes like 4 or 5 minutes and we're like really deeping it in, but he's like, I'm just feeling this room about to pop. I think we're just going to cut this one off with the breath and dive in here because like you said, Cody Bass, it felt like he's someone we've all known our whole lives. It's the first time I've ever spoken to him. I couldn't believe the amount of things that we are aligned on, but then so unique in our journeys. And then obviously had someone that probably went to the deepest end so far yet on the pod. And we're so grateful for that space.
Well, he talked about the biggest thing that popped up is like the adversity. And that's what this podcast is about. It's not just the fight on the ice. Now, as a fan of hockey, right? I love hearing about the people you went toe to toe and chuck knuckles with. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. But he was really diving into like the struggles of like working through adversity. And the one thing, I'm pulling a quote from him, he said, to be successful, you have to go through adversity. And like, that perspective, and I think he even put it in hockey terms. It was like, hey, to win a Stanley Cup, like you're gonna go through the highs and lows. You're gonna go through the trials, the tribulations. Like you're not going to be able to avoid them. So when you're sitting at the king of the castle, sitting at the king at the top of the mountain or whatever it is, like remember, like you're going to have to go through tough shit to get there.
And my goodness, did he go through some shit? Dude. I mean, you look at the disciplined career he built where no matter through, and what's crazy is we didn't even get into his injuries, like all the crazy injuries he had, because we had so many other places to go with the conversation. But like he mentioned, to only have played like, I think it was just over 500 games in such a long career because it was half taken away by injuries, and he kept getting contracts. He never had to worry because he competed that hard and played that hard. That discipline, that training he put into his body to recover from injuries, that reputation coming from such a broken home, like, man, is that not powerful?
He talked about it. He talked about how it humbles you, right? Like the fight humbles you, whether it be on the ice or in life. Like you're going to get knocked down a few pegs. Like you might be the biggest and the baddest in the arena you're currently in or you've been in the past. But multiple guests now have talked about, hey, I made it to the show and I got my bell rang. Like it was like against someone who's just usually out there toe dragging and dangling. Like all of a sudden, like they caught me with one. And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to wipe the glass with you, bud. Like, and just hearing about like that perspective of like, remember, like life's going to give you this shit. Life's going to give you punches. Like it's allowed to humble you. You're not weak because you got punched in the face. It's the famous Rocky quote. It's how many times you get hit and you continue to get up and keep pushing through.
And I said broken home, but really it's a beautiful home because like we said, it's the reframe. We're constantly doing the work alongside everybody listening in. It's the reframe of that's exactly what he needed. He didn't have that father figure. Okay. So then he had to put in his own discipline. He had to see his mother, what she was going through, but then he had to get resourceful. He had to find people. We talk about it in the course we're building. We had to align to a new team. He had people who loved him, but weren't able to provide that nurturing environment. And he finds a friend and their family who takes him in. He lives there many, many years as he trains, moving away from home to train in a better environment. I couldn't believe getting drafted and coming back to Owen Sound where he doesn't even have like a bed to sleep in. Like what a dichotomy of reaching such a height of discipline, but always falling back on, damn, like chasing that thing that he probably always wanted, that safety at home.
It's crazy because you think about like, he was a big one about choosing perspective, right? And I think a lot of us like, we can't choose our family, but we can choose to a certain degree how we respond to family, how we respond to the environment. And we always have a choice. And whether it become like people don't offend you, you choose to let them offend you. You choose like all of this stuff right now. You can jump down the trauma cycle, and that requires one-on-one talk and professionals. I want to honor that. But it's all about this idea of loving people with who they are and then meeting people with where they are. And that goes to family, that comes to friends, that comes to teammates, all of the things we constantly want to be surrounded by the perfect people the way we want them. But remember, we don't want to be put into a box either. So we want to be accepted for exactly how we are. So I think it's so important. He mentioned it, to love people for who they are, not who you just want them to be.
Oh, and that's that Tony Robbins thing he does, right, at all his retreats. And you either are two kinds of people. And believe me, I used to be the latter people. I was a victim. I would hear Tony Robbins say at his retreats and all his big conferences and speaking engagements, nobody's pissing you off. Nobody's triggering you. You're triggering yourself. And when the victim mode hears that, oh boy, does these things come out, and the claws and the teeth and the bad reviews and the dunking on Tony. But when you start to go through these experiences, as Cody talked about, as he got into, the devil teaches us some stuff and you're a product of everything you've been through, you start to change that mindset from victim to creator. And you start to look at it from that opposite perspective of like, seriously, like at the end of the day, people's actions are movements of physical matter. Their words are vibrations through the air. If they came through in Chinese in a language you'd understand, they wouldn't bother you. It's the emotional attachment. It's the content of that message that you're taking in. You're contrasting with your lived experiences of what's right and what's wrong. And that's what's triggering you. So it takes time, people. And I know how painful that can be, especially for someone so stubborn with this professional athlete mindset.
So what do you do, right? Like, that's the thing, is like, okay, tough guys, like, what the fuck do I do? Well, first, I think it's something I would always recommend, is to audit not only your internal surroundings, but your external surroundings. Like, who are you spending time with? What are you spending attention on? Where are you spending the places you're going, the people you're hanging out with, the content you're consuming, the news that you're watching, the art that you're creating, right? This is all like an internal and external audit. And that's the first place I would always say to start with all of this. And I have a secret ingredient, as I often do. I like to call it the secret sauce, or the secret juice. It's do it without judgment. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I should do this. I should be better. I should have known better. Like, this is just, we're putting things on paper. And all of a sudden, we're going to start to see that things are revealing itself to you, not to me, not to some therapist, not to anybody else. It's, we want you to become aware of your internal and external surroundings and audit it for yourself, because then you get to start making the choices where you want to go with the information that just came through.
Like you talked about, you got to be able to adapt. He was this goal scorer. Like, we've had so many guys that are really good players growing up, and then they have to make this change. And I couldn't believe he's a guy that Goody, like mama's boy off the ice. He was a killer, dude. I thought this guy would have been in the streets, tilting people, but no, never been in a fight, was skilled. And then his first ones, he just naturally took to it. Like, if I play against this guy, I mean, he was just mean, but like respectfully mean. But he had to adapt. And like you said, he probably sat down and took count of like, hey, where I'm at, where do I want to get to? Where's the gap that I have to fill in? Okay, I got to do this. I'm going to do it. Oh, he liked it. It works. Taking it to, like what you said, is curating your environment. It's not mutually exclusive. You can say, you know what? I know my mom is going through something and she can't be the best for me right now. That doesn't mean that she's not perfect the way she is. But right now, my bandwidth, my capacity to handle that isn't where it needs to be. So I'm going to remove myself from that situation. I'm going to do the work on myself. Then I'll be able to reintegrate back into that space and be able to hold space for someone or be around someone. I think we don't have to martyr ourselves in situations that we think are supposed to be serving us. Like, I can speak to my own, like, there's been times in my life where like, I just need to remove myself from this little space right now. I'll come back in when I'm ready to handle it, because being there when I don't need to be there is only going to cause more damage.
He said this, right? I think it speaks so loudly to what you're talking about, is each moment calls for a different version of us, right? So you might have this goal in your mind of, you want the perfect family, you want the perfect job, you want the perfect outcome to your goal, whatever it may be. But it's important that we don't get hung up on how we get there and what that looks like and the expectations of it. Because you guys talked about these blinders, and there's so much green pasture out here. But when we're caught just looking down the barrel, essentially, of our goals and the way we want things to get, like, we get caught in this idea that it's only going to happen one way. And there's this really, really helpful technique that I help clients with. It's usually when they're caught in that victim mindset where it's everything's happening to me. I say, list 10 things, the reason this thing is happening for you. This is a good thing to be happening. I also do this with goal setting. I say, what are 10 possible outcomes that the way it can go, right? So what are 10 ways it looks different than you think it looks right now? And then you could go down to 100. You can just keep this going. And all of a sudden you start seeing, oh my God, there's so many ways to show up and
Mhm.
for it to still work out exactly how I wanted to get this end result.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good because our brain builds these super highways through our lived experiences that get so rigid and stubborn. We only go down that ski hill one way. And, there's different ways to do this, but if you're going to do it just straight up like we're talking, it's going to take time. It takes time to build a new highway in real life. You got to plot, you got to barge down a forest, you got to clear the land, you got to put down the pavement. It takes months to build a new highway. You have to do the work, neuroplasticity, to take those blinders off to be able to see things like you said, because we can't possibly know how it's going to go. He retires and he's had this like raw animalistic hockey career, and now he's just sitting at home with his daughter, which he's like, I should love, but I'm just so like, he's so like pent up. And I'm so glad he not only found clearly someone working in mental health, but somebody who was spiritual. A big part of my path was working with an NHLPA psychoanalyst, senior psychoanalyst, psychologist, but he's also a Buddhist. So I felt like he could walk both paths, obviously lean into the medical, but have that open space. Because what did that guy say to him? He said, Cody, how did you build your like career? And he's like, well, just hard work and like just doing whatever it takes. He's like, just apply it to life. It doesn't have to be so exotic or fancy, go find something that gets you up. If right now it's just getting to the gym, like he spoke about how his gym is his meditation and his temple in the morning, go crush that every morning. Start your day off the way you always did as an athlete, and then go, what speaks to me now? And I honestly did this, people, going through the identity crisis that I did.
You mentioned neuroplasticity and, faith, belief, religion, whatever people want to call it for themselves. And that's been my sweet spot is how do I blend spirituality, religion, faith, belief to science, right? That's kind of my sweet spot where I'm like, I believe in the mysticism. I feel more emotionally pulled to it and like it makes more sense. But my logical mind also needs to be respected, and it does a really good job too. So it also wants its proof too, and it can exist. And when you brought up neuroplasticity, it's this idea, right, that our entire life we've been trained to walk along this one path, and this one path gets us to the same view every time we walk it. We do X, we get Y. We go from A to B. Well, what we do with neuroplasticity, what's really cool is we can change where we walk. And at first, the mind and the brain is going to start to feel really scared because it doesn't know where you're going. It doesn't know what to prepare for. It doesn't know what the threats are. It doesn't know if you're going to survive. So its job is to literally protect you and tell you, do not go here. We don't know if we can protect you. But neuroplasticity teaches us the more we practice, the more we walk it, the more the mind gets familiar, the more the mind can protect, and the more it can predict. And all of a sudden it goes, oh, this is kind of fun. I kind of like going here. And then all of a sudden you get to this view that you never thought of, whether that be a socioeconomical view or a political view or a view about yourself and self-worth and religion and spirituality. All of these things, neuroplasticity helps us with that. We rewire these neural pathways, or like I call them our mental hiking trails, to get to these new places. And I think one of the greatest ways to do that is just to check in with yourself and, is this in service to my purpose? And that requires inner work to understand even what our purpose is kind of being geared towards.
What a magical time to be alive that you could just say what you did, because we have access to all this information. There's something for everybody now. For the super logical minded person like I was, and my mom especially is. I sent her a post yesterday showing like, you know what, Mom, like the ancient Eastern folks did this for 5,000 years before psychology came along. And they said you didn't need anybody outside yourself. You did it within yourself, and they just pointed you back to yourself. But now for the folks that need that, and the way we've been conditioned the last 140 years with psychology, all psychology has been doing is like, okay, it thinks you're the ego and it thinks you are the mind. So it's like, let's understand it really well. So you build out this amazing model, neuroplasticity, experiential firsthand things that you can integrate and are hard like tools. But then you can always just look back and be like, yeah, but don't forget all the stuff they used to teach, that it's about going beyond that mind. So you get the best of both worlds today. There's something for everyone. And that's why we're so big on there's no guru, there's no teacher, there's no guide here. It's just everybody doing their own work. And when we shine our light, do our work, it points everybody back to themselves. And they go, oh, I'll take a little bit of your journey. I'll take a little bit of your journey, and I'll apply it to my lived experience, which is unique among all.
there's no such thing as a guru, it's a yuru, right? So you think about it, it always comes back to you. And one of the greatest life lessons I've learned is that, once again, we have to respect the psychological aspect of things, because we've been taught so much that everything is cerebral. Everything is exactly how we see it, how we perceive it. There's a right way and a wrong way. Well, there's what can maybe feel like a right way and a wrong way. And you'll notice I said feel. That's all subjective to one another's experience, our own journey. So while you want to tickle the mind and you want to fancy it and you want to let it obviously solve its problems because it's just a detective, you also have to check in with how it feels. Where am I feeling this pull to it? Do I feel it in my stomach? Is this like a gut feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna walk this path because I trust it and it feels right for me? And the scariest part about that is it's just like any other muscle. The more you use it, the more you trust it, the more you start to believe it, the more it starts to become a tool instead of this woo woo, wishy washy thing that people can't really describe or explain. But you start to understand what it feels like and looks like for you. And you end up in rooms or podcasts that you never thought were even possible with people you never thought were even possible.
Dude, that's beautiful. I love how you tied that in there. We're so grateful to have you here, brother. Ben's dad's freaking sending him tilts of me before this podcast. His dad's tapping into the hockey fight mentality. He's like, this is his way in. But that's a great example. Look how this flows are getting. That's a great example for your dad kind of into this. Maybe that how it's his way into the journey on his own way, because we have a guy out, shout out Jesse at Newfoundland, 18-year-old kid. He's like, I come to these streams and all this stuff for the fights. I stay for all the stuff you talk about, which is kind of interesting. There's a part of me that likes it. We got Dana out in Arizona, the fire captain. Like, he's just like, yeah, like now I'm just saying love and light all the time. People are like, why am I like on this stream 4 nights a week? You find your way in, and that is what you follow, that excitement, and that'll take you to your tribe. That'll take you to your environments you need to be in, that this journey keeps unfolding for you.
I got a question for you, because I think it's important. People, I think, will get turned off to the idea of just slinging around words like love and light. I think we should take a moment to explain what love and light actually is, because that's where I think a lot of people be like, oh, these fucking hippies. Like, like love is just the idea of togetherness and unity. It's coming together and literally just being together, helping one another, being kind. Like, that's love. Light is understanding. You can go from a spiritual aspect of it, a science aspect. Like, we are all simply light. Like, we are wavelengths. Like, we are like, it gets down to science. And that's where people like, you guys are fucking hippies talking about this love and light. Oh, it's like, no. You can talk about, coming out of the shadows into the light, or you can talk about it literally from the aspect of the eyes are seeing light waves. And we are subatomic particles made up of all this shit. Like, it's so much more than just like, the namaste, the love and lights. Like, there is some serious fucking depth to this shit.
Oh my God, it's so true. And you could also just say it's not love and light, it's just love, light,
Yeah.
love. Like, it's synonymous. And that's what's so funny, and why I talk about, like, it's the greatest time to be alive, because for years and centuries, science, one thing, spirituality, the other. Science is the demonic stuff. And then for the other people, the spirituality is the demonic. It's the freaking same thing. The highest priests we have on earth right now are the thermodynamics physicists, like understanding things that it takes like 20 years for it to integrate into the population. People, there's been discoveries made in the last 3 years that I don't think I should even share here. They're so deep and make people's brain pop. But like, at the basis of what you're talking about, yes, if you just zoom in on anything, if you zoom in on this cloth I have here, it's not a cloth. You zoom in, it's individual threads. Well, what are the threads made out of? The threads are made out of atoms. What are those made of? Subatomic particles. What are the bosons, leptons, quarks? Literally empty. This is just empty space scientifically, not woo-woo. It's what we know scientifically. The Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, they're doing this work, people. You just got to have your awareness tuned to it to be like, oh, that's not woo-woo. It never has been.
And it's I think there's this one thing, and it's cool if you don't want to go there 100%. It's just recognizing it as, oh, there's more beyond than what I know. And if that's where you stop, that's where conversations and rooms change, because now you go, there's more out there than I know. So I can't speak definitively because there's obviously proof. I just don't want to go. I want to stay comfortable. Totally cool. I respect that and all of the stuff like that. But I think that's where it's so important, where we talk about like love and light. Like, it's a choice because science backs it up. Spirituality has been saying it since before. Don't even get me started on the idea of time, because that's a whole different that's a whole different whole different podcast, brother. But like, it's been around literally since the first present moment. But it's incredible. So I think that's where it just shows up. And what Cody said it best, it's like all of these things go to the same place. It's just this pyramid to this higher power that we know nothing about. Like our human mind, if it comprehended it, would literally just fucking explode. Like, we don't know what's out there. They all go to this one thing, and you know what's at the top of that? Love, light, unity, kindness, compassion. Like, it's all of that shit.
We're being, like, scientifically, we're being bombarded. I think it's either 11 or 40 billion bits of information per second, but our brain can only filter like 11 or something. Like, we're in this reality, and it's dumbed down for us to experience it. And I love sharing this, and I won't say the exact names and everything, but there was this guy, there's only, you want to talk about like a spiritual kind of master guy, you know, most of the time they stay in their one lane. They stay with their one path to the ocean, let's say, of their practice. But this guy, he did the Hinduism path, he did the Muslim path, and he did the Christian path. And he said they all went to the same place. He's the only person that's like verified that he just did all the other paths to their completion and he got to the same place. But now, in today's age, the people we're speaking to, who that's just weird to you, and my goodness, it was to me. Why do you think my room's like this? Because I want to have you understand that I live in this reality too. You can practice the scientific way to its completion. You're going to go to the same place as the Christian, as the Hindu, as the Buddha. It's all going to the same place.
Oh man, it's interesting, right? It's all storytelling. Religions just have really good PR teams, and they're really good storytellers. Yeah. Spirituality, same thing. One is not better than the other. This is how I've always felt, is whatever gets you to love, joy, respect, kindness, unity, all of this love and light stuff, like that's that intuition we talked about, that inner pulling that you're listening to. It doesn't mean any of the other ones are wrong and you're right. That's the ego saying I'm right, everyone else is wrong. It's no, your inner pulling was like, this is what gets me there.
Yes. I
can trust that other people also get there in different ways, and that's cool.
Yes. And that's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You hear Cody being basically, as he described, not like a traditional Christian, but a very open-minded, exploratory Christian, and his wife's Muslim. Yeah. You know, it's just like, and they're living in the same household. Muslims respect Jesus. In Christianity, typically, they don't respect Allah. So there's all these contradictions going, but they are sharing in love and light, literally together, creating a beautiful life. It's not, doesn't have to be, it's not mutually exclusive. Do your own path, worry about yourself, and just watch how that changes people around you. And it doesn't even have to, because you're filling your cup. That's ultimately what it's about. That's why we talk about putting our oxygen mask on first. So, and it just comes back to gratitude. We're alive to even get to walk this path, to get to experience these things, these adversities that Cody says are literally what make life and who you are.
You use a really important word there, and it's the word get. I get to do this. I get to do this. Not I have to. I'll catch myself in the morning, like when I'm talking to my cat in the morning, be like, hey, I have to go record like a podcast, or I have to go do this. I go, no, I get to record content. Because why do I get to record content? Because that's a part of my service. My purpose is to helping people connect with a version of themselves they actually enjoy being around, one that they're proud to become, one that has always been there. Like, that's a fucking hell of a purpose. I get to do anything that helps me get into that arena. That is such a privilege. And Cody was huge on talking about that. It's like, it's perspective, right? It's like, you have a choice. And we might think that using words like get instead of have is like, listen, I've done enough research on the subconscious mind. And I'm telling you, brother, the words you say, even if it's switching from have to get to, will literally change your entire existence and your reality that you live in.
So true. We touch on this so much, people, because I'm sorry, if you want to, like, it's a repetitive, boring process, but that's the beauty, is that there's going to come a point that you keep following your excitement, you sticking with these kinds of small things we're saying, sticking with your language changing, sticking with practices that help you feel more love and light in your life. There's a point that comes, and I don't know if it's like when it goes from 49.9 to 50 or 50.1% of your journey, whatever that, like there's a point or a barrier you get through where it starts to become like, it's this enjoyable process. The pain that comes with maybe what you're perceived as failures with an old perspective becomes beauty, and saying like, wow, it's the change from, oh, I got 86 on my math test, damn, to, oh my God, I got 80. I have 14% more to learn. Why would I be going to school if I was getting 100? What's the point of that? It's that change. It just, oh my goodness gracious, people. It's just a mindset change and a, like you say, a channel change that just makes life so beautiful, so freaking beautiful.
And do you know when you usually get that clarity? It's oftentimes not during those moments of sunshines and rainbows. It's usually in the midst of what feels like a very familiar unwanted pattern of, could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be panic attacks, it could be grief, it could be stress, it could be whatever. And there will be a moment inside of that where you recognize the moment and you're like, fuck, here we go again. And it doesn't go to the depth it went to last time.
Oh,
now that is your opportunity to go, holy shit, look, I got to 84% instead of going to full send 100. Like, oh my God, look how much I've grown. Look at the way the changing one word in my life. And mine was going from I'm going to figure it out to I'm figuring it out. So it was never a future thing. Like, that's changed everything. That has gotten me to sit in this now, what is a throne of this chair to help my back, to be on this podcast with Gabe's. Like, it's simple little changes like that repetitively, because then that moment will pop up and you will have that moment of enough proof deposited in your proof piggy bank that you go, holy shit, I'm not full of shit. It's incredible.
Dude, you just spoke my night last night, going to the movies with my mom. And it's this thing for me when we record a big podcast, or when something happens or more love and light pours in my life, the ego, that phantom, wants to just suck me back into old patterns, to ground me in the body and be like, hey, no, we're not done here. And I just last night, feeling past anxieties come up, cravings, desires, and just like you said, just, oh my God, it was so much easier to sit in it and talk openly about it with my mom and share with her in that community, and just feel like the energy just lift out. And I know you had some experiences this week, we're talking, where you just dived into breath work and handled things completely differently than you would have in the past.
It's all opportunities, right? It's like Cody was saying, it's opportunities. We learn, and the goal isn't to go from 0 to 100%. That's not the goal. The goal is to see the journey, to become a fan and observer of your journey. Now, when you're stuck in the storyboard of it all, it's scary as shit. But when you can step back in the moment and go, hey, it's happening right now. Well, you just broke the current. And that itself is something, I'm going to make up a statistic, that 95% of people do not do, because they are stuck in the storyboard the entire time.
And that's why Cody doing what he's done in this work is why he's going to be the father he did not have. And it was fine that way. And it was perfect that way. That's the cycles of life. And that's why he's being the father to his child now. He's being the husband to his wife. He's being the son past his mother not being here anymore, that loved her for exactly who she was.
Absolutely. Cody, I appreciate you, brother. Your story is inspiring. You are such a beam of love and light to the entire world. And I'm so happy you were so authentic and vulnerable. I'm so grateful for you. And brother, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Basser. Man, we caught a big fish with that one, people. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but damn. And I feel like that episode going forward is going to really see some guys be like, wow, I can come in and be safe and share. And I mean, he joined the WhatsApp community after, people. He's in our damn Love and Light WhatsApp community, vibing in there. So, oh, it's so beautiful to see. He's connected to so many guys, as he said, down in the Nashville area that might be able to come on, all tough sounding guys that could be perfect for our pod. So what a time, dude. I feel like we're just having more fun every episode of this too. This is an absolute channel over here, channel of information and love and light for everybody. Thank you so much for your time and presence. Thank you for your time, everyone. We'll see you the next time on After the Bell.
Send love.